Welcome to Brave Healer Productions. We are waking the world up to what's possible for healing, one brave word at a time. Hey everyone, welcome to Monday Morning Breakthroughs. Today I have our guest Camille Miller, who is the founder of the Natural Life Business Partnership, and she is here to give us a breakthrough, you guys. We're going to talk about showing up authentically in your business. She's going to help us learn how to build our businesses around our truth, vision, and what makes us feel authentic. Camille is on a quest to assist entrepreneurs in building authentic businesses that impact the world. She is a transformational leader, best-selling author, and celebrated influencer in the field of entrepreneurship. Her mission is simple: to inspire and support others in bringing their gifts to the world. She offers highly individualized mentoring and assistance in all aspects of business, from planning and strategy to marketing and innovation. And of course, I'm going to have her hooked up with all of her sites, links, and all the other good stuff down below. But I'm going to get right to it. Camille, you've got 20 minutes to give us a breakthrough, girl.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Welcome, everyone. So, yeah, I love bringing other people's gifts to the world. And I think the best way to do that is to show up authentically in business. I can tell you from years of business training, going for my own, MBA and going through business school, that I feel that we were taught to be someone we're not. We were taught to follow these very specific plans. And if you do A, B, and C, that's how you're successful. And I know I'm actually a professor, of an MBA professor, I teach global business strategy. And it was in that role that I realized that we're really missing the mark. And there's this huge gap in the world for, I say, soul-led micro entrepreneurs in service to others, those that are serving others around the world based in their passion, their uniqueness, what they do in the world, the gifts that they bring, because we don't teach them how to run businesses in that way. So I have spent actually this entire summer beta testing a new Soul Professional school where we're actually teaching these micro entrepreneurs. That micro entrepreneur is someone who makes less than 5 million a year. So if that's you, welcome. Because I feel like that is our future. That's where we're all going, right? There's so many people that have gifts, and the way to bring them to the world and not work for these big corporations is the paradigm shift that's happening. So I love teaching from an authentic place and being me. And I learned the hard way that when I just show up being who I am, that's when people resonate with me. And so many times we're going through business trying to be an extrovert when we're an introvert, or trying to be like this other person that we follow on Facebook. And there's so many coaches out there just saying, well, this is the way I did it, so this is the way I'm going to teach you to do it. And I think that is a huge disservice to our multi-passionate people out there that are talented in many areas. We're creative, we have gifts, and we need to bring those to the world. And I am not a big believer in competition. I believe that each of us is unique in our own way. And the more unique we are, the more we can differentiate from all of these other people that might do what we do, the better off we are. So when you are constantly being in your unique self, that is your differentiator. That's what makes you different. And when you think of all the people that graduate school with business degrees, or how many lawyers come out of law school, or doctors come out of medical school, right? Or dentists come out of dental school, whatever it is, right? People sit for their CPA exam. They all have the exact same training, the exact same license. But when you need a professional, you interview them, right? You learn to know who they are, how do they do things in the world, because that's their authenticity. That's their unique differentiator. They may all be called doctors or CPAs or lawyers, but they are uniquely different. And it's exactly the same with every single one of us. As we create our business, it doesn't really matter what our title is. It's how our energy is interacting with other people. And the more we can be authentic, the better it is for each of us. And the easier it is to actually attract the right clients towards you, right? So if you're marketing in a way that's very broad, you're going to get people that don't actually match with who you are authentically. It might bring you money, but it's not bringing you money easily. It's not in a way that's just in flow. When people introduce you or people just get to know you, I do master classes all the time. That's why I do these, but podcast master classes all the time, because I'm like, if I'm just being me and teaching what I think in the world, that's what people hook onto. And then they say, you know what, I want to learn a little bit more about what you do or who you are, or I like the way you talked about, right? So when you're putting yourself out there in exactly who you are, you're not pretending to be someone else, you're attracting the exactly right person to learn more about you. Does that make sense? Yeah. So this also goes off not only in your business design, your business model, but your marketing. How are you putting yourself out there, right? If you're making posts about general things and it's not authentic to who you are, then those are the kind of people you're attracting. It's very general. If you're putting out a lot of fear, I'm not a big fan of fear marketing at all. Like if you're saying, like, are you, in financial distress? Are you filled with anxiety? Are you like and you're doing all of these pain points, you're going to attract people that are still in that pain point, right? And most of those people are not ready to spend money to fix that pain point. But if you sell the transformation, like after my class, you will feel boundless freedom. You will have more self-confidence. You will come out with a completed business plan, right? Those that are ready to take that step into the transformation are the ones that are going to connect with who you are, right? Because you're selling the transformation, not the pain, right? When they connect with the pain, they're not your people yet, unless you're working really deep in that pain. But most people in pain will not spend money for help to get out of pain. They like being in pain, right? You want to be that next level. And I think when you're in your authentic self, you create what other people haven't created yet. You think a little bit different. Like when I was creating the Soul Professional School and beta testing it, I can't tell you how many people say, well, it's not done that way, or I'm not really sure, right? Especially if you're hanging around people that aren't entrepreneurs, right? It's the wrong crowd, right? I look at it, oh, well, if people don't think I can do it, that's like perfect. That means people aren't doing it, right? Let me see how I can do it and be different. So looking for those ways to be different is authentic. And I love marketing. I don't have a marketing schedule at all. Like I'm just out there, right? I flow everyone into the free networking I have for my community and my free master classes. And you can usually get to know me there. Obviously, people have come through books, they've come through podcasts, they've come through all of these other things too. But the first step is usually me just teaching business, because that's what I'm doing. I'm a business strategist, and people feel my authenticity, and I say things that might not fit in the business world. Right. And I'm always saying, if you have to hide a piece of who you are, then you are not being authentic. If you're going into groups and being like, well, these aren't my people, so I'm just not going to say this part of me, that is an energy that's being felt. So people can't be attracted to you because they feel that you're hiding something. Right. So when you're just you, right, you can be on social media talking about a book that you read. Right? I read books all the time. I have a book problem. But when I put it out there, people are like, oh my God, that's a great book. Or have you read this one yet? Right. I do book talks and discussions in my community because it's what I love to do. Right. It's authentic to who I am. It might not make sense, but it's authentic to who I am. So that's how it comes out. Right. So I'd love to hear from any of you guys if you're doing something that's authentic or you've had resistance to things that might not feel really good and you're kind of wondering how to do it. Always happy to answer a question if you're having that resistance. You can put that in the chat or raise your hand. Another great thing when we talk about resistance is if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. That is my best advice out there. If everyone's telling you, oh, you got to do videos on YouTube or you got to do, I remember when Facebook Lives were big and people were like, I really don't want to do it. Okay, then how about we don't do it? But you have to do something to put yourself out there. But if that's not it, then you don't do it. If you're a really good writer, then you write, right? If you're really good on video, then do video. I'm good at video. I'm good at kind of off the cuff things. That's what I like. That's what I'm good at. So that's what I do, right? If you're good at something, put that out there. If you're reading books, put that out there. If you like reggae music, I'm a big reggae music fan, so I put that out there, right? That's what I make posts about because it's authentic to who I am. If you have client testimonials or things that you can bring people to see your work, put that out there. But be very authentic to who you are at all times. If you're hiding a piece of yourself, it's showing up that you're not comfortable with who you are. Right? I know many of you have many modalities, and what you're saying, I'm sorry, the word multi-passionate comes out because usually the people that I attract are introverts, one, because I'm an introvert, and they're multi-passionate means they have a very creative side to them, and they're also a very logical being. So niche down as much as possible if you know who you attract. You usually attract someone that was you 2 to 5 years ago because you have the skills to help that person, right? When I first came out of my divorce and I was creating a business, those are the people that I helped, right? Now I'm 10 years into my business. I help a much higher end person that's trying to either break 100,000, but they've had work, right? Or they've already done that and they're trying to get to that 500,000 mark, right? Because I have the skills to be able to do that now, right? I didn't have the skills to do that before, but your clients grow as you grow, and that's okay, right? You grow with your clients and you change things along the way. I'm just reading the chat. What other ways do you share your unique personality? In everything I do. I know I never put my kids up on social media, so I won't talk about that, but I do talk about being a mom a lot. Because guess what? I'm a mom. I'm a mom of multiples. I'm a single mom. And that was part of it is part of who I am. So I talk about that because guess what? I attract moms that are usually in their 50s that were divorced and are doing things on their own. It's not all of it, but 80% are probably somewhere in that framework, right? And that's okay. Your avatar should always be about 80%. And then you have high-end programs and low-end programs and different things that fill out. The other 20% can come from anywhere. But 100%, I used to say 97. Now I just really say 100. 100% of my work comes through word of mouth. Don't spend any money on marketing or anything else. It's 100% comes from word of mouth. And when I stepped into who I was and brought that forward, that's when it all started to flood forward because I had spent lots of money on programs that didn't work for me. But when I stepped up, that's when it all started to easily come. And all day long, people are introduced to me. I don't have to worry about anything. All day long, people are introduced to me to do different things. I'd love to open up if anyone has any questions or things about their business. The one that I love when I'm working with someone, they're like, oh my God, you're the first one that said I can just be me. Or I've had all these coaches that said I had to do like these 10 steps and that was it. I have a client I'm working with now who worked with a coach that made her change her title and who she was because they thought it would have a broader SEO. And I was like, but how you do? She's like, my business just absolutely plummeted. And I was like, because it doesn't resonate with who you are. It's not you. And once we just made her be her authentically, the clients just started coming. She didn't have to worry about a thing. Our program started to fill. It was very easy.
Hey, let me ask you a question. You've obviously been practicing this a while. You got to a point where you can say to us, I don't do any traditional kinds of marketing anymore. It's 100% word of mouth. Most of our service providers are word of mouth referral anyway also, but we're constantly told, well, you got to do this SEO stuff and you need to do Facebook ads and you need to go do this, and oh my gosh, there's a list of a million things. Could you give us an idea of how long it took you to get to the point where that flow was that you could say 100% today, and any other tips you have in terms of that kind of marketing? I loved your reggae reference. I loved your mom reference. And, you and I have a lot in common in terms of the divorced single mom thing. But what else about that marketing thing do you think?
So, especially now, I feel like everyone's shouting from mountaintops, right? And I don't think Facebook works the way it used to work. I don't think a lot of the traditional stuff once we went through the pandemic is working. And we can see that Facebook's changing all of its algorithms so you spend more money. And I don't really pull a lot from Facebook anyway. I have groups. My groups aren't really working the way they used to work. Although there are people that do great having groups, but they're becoming harder and harder to manage because of the analytics of Facebook. So that's why for me, and this is what I tell all of my clients, is always to have something free where you can just be you. That's why I do the free master classes, because I teach business from a soul point of view, because that is literally me. It's free for anyone. People will come to that free for the rest of their lives and never spend a dime on me. That's okay, right? I'm not judging that, but there are people that come to it and just go, okay, now I'm ready for that next step. Let's have a conversation about that, right? I think that's the best marketing out there, right? Because you're just being you. They're experiencing what it's like to work with you, and they get to see it all the time. So that is marketing, and it's not costing you a dime, right? It's the first part of your funnel is getting people all to this free stuff, right? Some people use challenges, masterminds, networking events. There's all sorts of ways that you can do what's free and good for you. It used to be giveaways and building up your email list. So it was actually a year ago where I was spending so much money on marketing and I was not seeing ROI at all. And I've done this more than once with different groups of people. And then I just said, you know what? That's it. I'm not doing it anymore. So I always had, at least for the last few years, people being introduced to me, right? But I also take the time to introduce other people to people all the time, right? So it also works the other way around, right? When you're making the effort to make sure people have good relationships, people make the effort to also introduce to you. Now, I'm more of a pay it forward. It doesn't always come from the person I introduced, but I know that it will flow that way. But when I am introduced to someone, I absolutely make that an appointment right away, because I know when someone is introduced to me, that's already a warm lead. I don't know if that person is my end client or not, but I don't care. Someone handed someone off to me, and that relationship is my responsibility, right? So I have to show up and have that conversation. So in me, and what I tell my clients, my community, my membership, is you should be having 20 brand new conversations every single month. Every single month, I meet at least 20 brand new people, right? Not all my end clients, but I know very specifically, and I do this work a lot. Actually, I just did this masterclass, so it's actually on YouTube, of absolutely knowing who your avatar is, not just doing the little exercise, but knowing when you're speaking to them, the words that they're using that you go, okay, that's my person. And then after they're your person, are they your end client or are they just in your community? Right. And then just knowing this flow chart in your head of how you work with people. Is this a good place for them? Is that a good place for them? So every time you speak to something, there should be an end to it. Is it a prospect? Not a prospect. Should you invite them into your community or a free program? What is the end client? So it's still marketing. It's just free. Does that make sense?
It
Right. And
does.
when people are being introduced to you, what are you doing with those people? That is a big part of my everyday,
Yeah.
is when people are introduced to me, how am I nurturing that relationship so it reflects back for that other person that made that? Very, very important.
One of Camille's things is in our show notes for you guys. It's in the chat for you Zoomers today. The monthly master classes, right? This is what she's talking about. This is one of her ways of doing what she's talking about. Monday Morning Breakthroughs, this show you're watching, this is mine. And it's one of two main ways I do it. And I'm, oh my gosh, 110% yes to what Camille is talking about in terms of marketing. I would 110% say yes to everything she's saying. I've had very, very, very similar experiences. Camille, let's wrap up with a couple of minutes of, like, tell us about the Natural Life Business Partnership. How do people work with you? What do you want us to know about what you're up to in the world?
Yeah, so I do run the Soul Professional Society. There's a whole free side of it that you can get access to a lot of the classes that I've taught. You can get access to networking, my master classes. And then, of course, there's a premium side where you're working in masterminds. You're showing up with me at least once a week, sharing of best practices and working on really the strategy of your business. I'm not really a coach. I'm a teacher, I'm a mentor, I'm a strategist. I also have my business accelerator program it's called Business Accelerator Mentorship. That is from the Soul Professional School that we just launched, which went through beta. And that is a 3-month long program where I'm teaching you things. And then I work with you individually. So we're applying it into your business. So you're walking out with full business plans, marketing plans, branding guides, everything in that 12-week program. Is literally like an MBA program on steroids, but very for the logical soul-led individual. That's it. I help people strategize their business. So if you're logically minded and soul-led and have an idea of a business, it's how do we bring your gifts to the world in a way that's so authentic. And I do believe everything is worth building money around, because when you build wealth in all areas of your life, that's how you impact the world. And we define a soul professional as someone who lives in a higher vibration, has an alternative approach to business, and is here to help repair the world. So if that's you, reach out. I'd love to even have a conversation and learn about what you're doing in the world so I can introduce you to more.
Fantastic. Oh my goodness, you guys. Please explore soulprofessional.com. Okay. I've got the links down below, but go over and check out all the things that Camille is up to. A lot of free opportunities there to get your feet wet and meet her and get to know her at the next level. Camille, the only thing we haven't mentioned is your amazing book series today. So yeah, she's got them behind her shoulder there today. The Ultimate Guide to Leaving Your Legacy is going to be launching September. Yes. So look out for that one. It's the third book in a really powerful, amazing series. So you're going to find the other books on her website as well. Thank you for what you do in the world. And thanks for being here today to share it with everyone.
Thank you.
So, you guys, you can reach out to Camille. And if you have questions, let us know. We are going to be working together. Monday Morning Breakthroughs is one of the ways we get together as a community. So, first and third Mondays. Okay. I've got an amazing speaker coming up on August 19th, Dr. Ariana Platten. I know some of you know her. She's going to be talking about an incredible topic, ripening into the harvest. It's time to look at your life, where you are, what to celebrate, and how to share your early bounty. I love that. So I can't wait to have Ariana for our second meeting here in August. But there's information about how to get all of the invites down below. We meet in a group on Facebook called Brave Badass Healers. Today, I guess I really want you to know that we're here to help you share your words with the world in a bigger way. So whether it's writing in one of our expert collaborations, joining the Writer's Circle, teaching your course on the Transformation School platform, or maybe you come to one of the networking events, we do this with a spirit of collaboration, which is business building magic. Reach out to us for information on anything you've heard us mention today. Until then, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave.